Hi, and welcome back to Center Webcast. This is the COVID-19 Indiana County edition. My name is Gerald Smith. This is episode 18. Today's Tuesday, May 5th. Today, I'm excited about our two guests. We are happy to welcome Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro, and also excited to welcome back Indiana County Commissioner Shireen Hess. As usual, I'm joined today by Dr. Sybil Moore, our co-host, and Brandon Vick on the Zoom and Facebook production. The mission of the Center for Community Growth is to lead individuals and organizations in and around Indiana County, advancing social, racial, gender, LGBTQIA, economic, and environmental justice. The COVID-19 Indiana County webcast is a regular broadcast designed to keep you informed during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our guests have included elected and appointed community leaders, folks in nonprofits and the service industry, and local heroes doing incredible work in the community to make sure no one falls through the cracks. Don't miss our huge bank of interviews, from Senator Casey to small business owners to the folks over there in Homer City pumping out face masks and face shields from 3D printers, from here to California. They're all available on YouTube, so please subscribe. We hope this remotely produced broadcast will help you understand how this pandemic is impacting you and the Indiana community. We'll be coming at you Sundays at 2 and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Each episode will be available for replay. And with that, I'm going to hand it directly over to my co-host, Dr. Moore, who's going to get right into our first interview.
Hello and welcome everyone to Community Radio this afternoon. Welcome Attorney General Josh Shapiro. How are you today?
Hey, it's good to be with you. I'm doing well, and I hope you and yours are healthy and safe.
Well, thank you. Just starting out, many folks in our region, unlike across the state, are concerned about financial difficulties. And they're, it's making staying closed so much more stressful. On your website, you have listed rights and responsibilities that folks should recognize if they have. Can you share those with us?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me on. It's important that we have this discussion. And look, there is so much attention paid, and understandably so, to the public health crisis that we're facing. And look, we've had nearly 100 positive cases in Indiana County alone. A handful of people have perished. Sadly, we know those numbers will continue to increase, not just in Indiana, but all across Pennsylvania. But as we're dealing with this public health crisis, we're also dealing with an economic crisis. And to your point, there are a lot of folks whose businesses are shuttered. People who have lost a job. 1.7 million Pennsylvanians have lost a job. Just to put that in some perspective for you, that's 1 out of every 5 workers in Pennsylvania. It's actually 1 out of every 4.5 workers have lost a job. And there are other people who may not have lost their job, but they've lost big chunks of their income. And so there's a lot of people who are really struggling financially. We're dealing with that economic side of it in the Office of Attorney General every day. And, under the laws of the Commonwealth, and thanks to actions by me and my office, people have a lot of rights. Let me give you an example. You have a right not to have your power or your cable or your water shut off during this time. If you're a tenant right now, you have a right not to be evicted. If you bank at one of more than a dozen banks in Pennsylvania, thanks to a deal that I negotiated with banks, including First Commonwealth in Indiana County, you have the right to not have to pay your mortgage for 90 days, to not pay a car loan, to know that your that information isn't going to be negatively impacting your credit. You don't have to worry about your home being foreclosed upon, your car being repossessed. All of those things are rights that are either enshrined in law or I've negotiated on behalf of the people of Pennsylvania. And so we tried to put all of that in one place on my website, attorneygeneral.gov, and there's a little button you can click for COVID-19. Go grab the Rights and Resources Guide. Hopefully you guys will post it here on these channels and make sure people know all of the different rights and resources they have available to them. And if you find that you have this right, you have this resource, and someone's trying to take advantage of you, contact my office immediately. You'll see right at the top of the screen there's a button where you can submit a complaint. Submit that complaint to us right away, and we'll get on it, and we'll fight for you.
Those are all very important rights, responsibilities. We thank you for your work protecting the citizens here in Pennsylvania. If someone is being threatened with eviction or loss of heat or utilities or even internet, what is their recourse during COVID-19? You said they can go on to the website. Is there anyone else they can contact, or would it be basically to your office?
Sure. Well, again, can't have your power shut off, water, anything like that. Can't be evicted. If your landlord, if your utility company, whatever, tries to take advantage of you that way, notify us immediately. I've got a team working around the clock. We may be working remotely, but we're working around the clock to make sure that if you submit a complaint, we follow up. I'll just give you an example of the volume that we're getting. On another topic that we've been really aggressive on, price gouging, we've received 4,700 tips about price gouging through our website there, or through a special email address we set up, pricegouging@attorneygeneral.gov. And I can tell you that we follow up on every single one of them. So don't hesitate to reach out. My office is here to serve you.
Wonderful. Some businesses are eager to open up their businesses and to bring in revenue. However, some workers may not feel that their employer is providing them with a safe working environment. What protections are there for employees? And again, what can someone do?
Yeah. We've been really aggressive in trying to help workers on the front line, our essential workers in grocery stores, hospitals, folks delivering groceries, whatever the truckers, farmers, whatever the case may be. We've been working to make sure that they have PPE. We've been making sure that if they get sick, they have the ability to go home and rest at home and still be able to get paid. If their kid is sick or an elderly parent is sick, whatever the case may be. So we're working really hard to make sure that folks have that assistance if they need it.
So what is the work that you've been focused on during COVID-19, specifically your office, and what seem to be the highest need areas, and what should folks do locally to protect themselves?
Yeah, so we talked about that before. We're getting a lot of tips on price gouging, almost 4,700 tips. We're following up on every single one of them. We've been negotiating that package of relief through the banks. Just today, I announced a special deal with DoorDash. That's the company that drives food around from restaurants, where they're going to pay their workers better, provide them better benefits, make sure that they're protected, and they're going to be delivering meals to seniors who are, homebound. Now that's probably not in Indiana, probably more in the Pittsburgh area, but it's something really significant. So we're working on deal after deal like that to make sure that people are getting the help that they need. In addition to that, I want to make you aware of a lot of work we've been doing on scams, okay? We partnered with the United States Attorney in the Western District of Pennsylvania, United States Attorney Scott Brady, and we put my law enforcement work and his together to be able to combat scams, particularly stuff that's happening online. And I want to make sure your viewers are aware of two different kinds of scams that are really, out there right now. Number one is unemployment compensation scams. If you are one of the 1.7 million Pennsylvanians who has to apply for unemployment, the only place you should go is to the state website, uc.pa.gov. I recognize that there have been some issues there, and I know the governor is working on addressing that. But there are people out there suggesting you should go to some other website or some other place to get help. That's false. And if they direct you to some other website, that's a scam. So that's number one. Number two, we've seen an uptick an increased number of scams related to those stimulus checks. That's the money that under the federal act that some people were able to get, the $1,200 or so per person. There were some people saying that they were calling saying, give us your bank account information, we'll do direct deposit. The IRS doesn't call you unsolicited. They have your bank account information. And if they don't have your bank account information, they're going to mail you a check. In fact, most people should have already received the money deposited or the checks mailed to them. But do not ever give over your bank account or your personal information. And we're working together with the United States Attorney and others to make sure that those people are aggressively prosecuted.
Well, that's excellent information. Thank you for that. We've seen a
Sure.
lot of local heroes here in Indiana, and they've been featuring a lot of those folks that have been doing incredible work all over our region. I understand you're tracking the same kind of things happening at the state level. Can you talk about your hashtag, Here Are the Helpers?
Yeah, so look, I grew up on Mr. Rogers, okay? And you're smiling. Maybe you watched a little Mr. Rogers too. And
I did.
we have 4 kids, and we try to get our kids to watch Mr. Rogers. They ain't having any of it now. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't know this, but Mr. Rogers was a Pittsburgher, right? He was from Squirrel Hill. And Mr. Rogers famously said, in times of crisis, look for the helpers. And I kind of live my life that way, right? I mean, there's a lot of negative. And God knows in my job as Pennsylvania's Attorney General, I see a lot of bad stuff, right? And you see a lot of folks who are breaking the law. But I also see so many people doing good. And in this time of crisis, we see bad news on TV every night, right? People getting sick, people dying, people losing a job, people worried about being able to put food on their table for them and their family. We also see some like amazing acts of generosity from people that maybe don't end up on TV. And I was really struck. I think I read this online about the teachers in Indiana County getting together and buying almost $20,000 worth of pizza for their students to have kind of like a big giant pizza party. I thought that was amazing, right? I mean, these teachers, they're amazing. First off, they're amazing generally, right? In general, but now having to teach kids online, I don't know about you, but math isn't the same as when I learned it, right? I mean, I don't know what my kids are doing now, but the way these teachers teach math, that in and of itself is incredible. So they're doing that, and they're buying pizza, and they're worried about, you know, the mental health of these kids and the well-being of these kids and doing some really special stuff. Those Indiana County teachers are helpers, and it's just exciting to see people step up and do that kind of work all across our state. I mean, I'll give you another example that really inspires me. Now, this is in Philadelphia, so other side of the state, but, you know, we have seen coronavirus negatively impact communities of color in ways that oftentimes people don't talk about. And it's negatively impacting them on both the public health and the economic side. Am I right about that? I see you nodding.
Yes.
Here's the thing. A lot of people in communities of color couldn't get access to testing. And a group of African-American doctors, they call themselves the Black Doctors and Nurses Alliance, got a bunch of tests, and they are going around on foot in a van to communities of color in the city of Philadelphia where otherwise these people wouldn't be able to get tested. And they're testing them, and they're saving lives. You know, that is really inspiring to me. They didn't have to do this. This isn't part of their job responsibilities. And yet they're stepping up day in and day out to do that work. And finally, this is going to sound a little bit close to home here, but I got to give a shout out to the workers in the Office of Attorney General. We've got 1,000 people that work for you every single day. And some of them are out in the community still putting their lives on the line to keep people safe. So many of our folks are working from home, but continuing to lock up child predators and make sure we take on this, the heroin, fentanyl, and opioid crisis, hold those pharmaceutical companies accountable, make sure that we're continuing to do all of that important work on violence in our communities. And I'm really just so proud of them every day I'm just inspired by them every day. So I know you asked me for one helper. I gave you 3. I'm sorry, but that's I'm excited to be able to highlight all of those folks.
Oh, that's great. Just so happens that Gerald is a math teacher here locally at one of our high schools here in Indiana.
Gerald, man, I don't know how you guys do that. They don't carry the 1 anymore. I don't get it. I don't understand. They do all this extra math on the side. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was great. Both of my children are here in the district as well. And we did receive a coupon for Tom's Pizza. So the kids are excited about it. Yeah, and we thank our teachers here. They're very appreciative.
They're awesome.
Just wrapping up, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
Now, look, just first off, thank you for being engaged in the community. There's so many issues that I'd love to come back and talk about when we have more time. I know you guys have done great work on environmental issues, criminal justice reform, a lot of work, around the LGBTQ community. I want everyone to know that tomorrow will be, before the United States Supreme Court. We're doing it by telephone. We're doing it virtually, but we'll be arguing in a case that we brought 2.5 years ago to protect women's access to contraception. We think that is really important, and it's an honor to be able to represent Pennsylvania before the United States Supreme Court on that. So there's a lot of work we're doing. I'd love to come back and have the opportunity to talk with you more about it. But thank you for what you guys are doing all throughout Indiana County. I think it's great. And maybe next time we can film this from that great deli by IUP there. What is it?
Ninth
What is it?
Deli.
Ninth Street Deli, yeah. I love that place.
Yeah,
With
good
all
grub
the
there.
pennants. Yeah,
Yeah.
with all the pennants up and
Oh,
everything.
good
That's
grub.
a great place.
Good grub. Yeah, most
Well,
definitely.
let's do it there next time when we can all be back together in person, all right?
Wonderful. That's great. We're definitely going to take you up on that invitation. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you coming here today and taking time out. We know you're super busy. At Community Growth, we just extend our heartfelt thanks. And we ask that you stay safe, please, and you and your family stay safe and Godspeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too. See you guys soon. Stay well.
Bye-bye.